I've heard a lot of people express sentiments that demonstrate a thorough misunderstanding of versus debating and what it's about. So I've decided today to appear before you in person to talk about this very serious topic and explain it to you in an easy to understand and concise manner. Versus debating is the process by which entitled people objectively prove the superiority of their preferred characters to tangentially similar characters who coincidentally share some vague similarities and worded in an intentionally deceptive way. Oftentimes, versus debating occurs because it is physically impossible to validate one's ability to like a fictional character without pitting them in a conceived deathmatch against another fictional character to demonstrate that the character that one likes is good. Despite what some people tell you, these pointful debates are the most important things you will ever engage in across your meaningless life. The outcome of any battle will determine your course in life and how successful you are in the geopolitical stock market. In fact, some people even make the mistake of believing that the outcome is the most important, but that's not actually true, because there will always be people who respectfully disagree, and we call those people both objectively wrong and also stupid, because remember, you are always right, and so are your arguments and your opinions. Oftentimes, you'll see people argue that you do not know the topic you're talking about, but frankly, that goes to show that they're just novices in this field, because that literally does not matter. I highly recommend you skip the rookie stage and just jump straight into professional versus debating, because then you'll learn quickly that consuming media related to a character is actually completely pointless. Almost as pointless as respect and courtesy. Always make sure you argue using nothing but word of mouth, offhand statements you heard one time in a conversation you weren't a part of, and most importantly, a quick Google search to Versus Battle Wiki, or if you're feeling especially exotic, Character Stats and Profiles Wiki, though it isn't as preferable, as some users in that wiki feel the strange desire to provide what they call evidence to their claims, which we don't like that very much. Also remember, every character stats are objectively provable, undeniable fact, and the fact is, you're right. Whatever you think, that's true, and any differing opinion is a result of ignorance and stupidity. You are the person who knows right, that knows what they're doing, and you can't be denied. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about tiers. These tiers are honestly completely meaningless and vapid, and that's exactly why it's up to you to apply meaning to them. But whatever you do, never explain what you mean, because that just defeats the whole purpose of the meaning being up to you. If you want, you can call anybody or anything out-versal, which is shorthand for so strong you don't even know what the arguments are for why they're so strong. It's also to be remembered that speed is the most important factor in any debate, unless the character is out-versal or high-hyperversal. Speed is determined by glancing at any instant a character would avoid something moderately bright and straight, and determining that it is a laser, and for a fact that character is now faster than light. It's very important you do this, but what's more important is that whenever a character does anything involving time, regardless of context, they are immeasurable speed, maybe an accessible speed. On that note, context. It's important to note that in this context has no value at all. It is highly recommended to take things out of context to support your argument if it helps, and if someone tries to apply context, then you need to know that they are biased against you and your character and will attempt to wank the opposing character, which just means they might wrongly believe stats that are higher than what you believe, and what you believe is all that matters. Now that the mindset is out of the way, then the most important element of being a versus debater is how you treat other people. Remember that respect and understanding are archaic and honestly kind of offensive to versus debater, because that goes against our entire belief system, which is that we are right and we deserve exactly what we want and what we think should happen because we're better and more important than other people. If you see a versus show doing something you dislike, it is your prerogative, your responsibility to call them out and demonize them for it. If someone is given a stat even 1 joule lower or higher and in what you think, that's just not good enough. Because even if it's slightly off, it's still off and thus incorrect. Make sure you badger the people in charge regardless of their hand in things, because getting angry at people on the internet will make you feel good and worthwhile. Maybe your parents will even love you again. But that's not up to me, that's up to if they agree that Ichigo would stop Naruto, because Ichigo's multiversal plus and Naruto's teacher can't even destroy a bubble. Also, make sure if a versus show is ever doing something it has no obligation to specifically for your sake and benefit, that you never fucking ask them to do that for you. If they're going to do something for you, it should be exactly to your liking, and if you don't like it, then it's your right to get angry at them, because no matter how minor the problem is, they decided they want to do something for you. And they did it wrong. Whenever someone you don't know decides they want to take time out of their day to do something nice for you, it's their responsibility to make sure that you're 100% happy with the outcome and the result. If you're ever in doubt, remember our catchphrase: harassing people is good, and that's an objective fact you can't argue against, otherwise I'll harass you for being wrong when I'm right. Finally, the most important part in the versus community is to sign up to the JAV Society, that being the Jokes Are Very Fake Society. The objectively correct society that ensures you remember that nobody is ever joking and always being serious. All those free jokers, we call them, with their vertically aligned wing agendas, seem to have the especially egregious political opinion that sarcasm is a real thing, and no, that's wrong. Everyone is always serious, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you always take everything anyone says or does seriously, and if you don't get the joke, that just means you know for a fact that it's not a joke, as you always should, because jokes are a communist myth. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoy this video. It is 100% serious, and if you disagree, then feel free to go die in a hole, because I'm correct and you're not. And I also fucked your mother, and I'm the one who didn't text back.